Hello and welcome to MotorsTV for this look back at the 2011 International Superstars Series. 2010 champions Thomas Biaggi and BMW out to defend their titles in the 8-round competition. We now return to the live commentary from the opening round of the season at Monza.
And the pace car comes in as they come round the Parabolica to go across the start and finish line. Now this is controlled by Max Pigoli. It is the white AMG Mercedes you see in front. Next to him, the awesomely quick, it looks like a little bit, they cross the finish line now. Oh, look at that speed. And Michele Cerruti's gone with him as well now. Bertolini, I think, has been dropped. And I think even the Jaguar is going to get past him up the inside. It's quite possible. Little bits happening at the back of the grid. But it's the two Romeo Ferraris. C63 AMGs at the front, Max Pigoli up there, and it's a traffic jam right at the back. Number 23, that's Sergio Hernandez, sorry. He's got a bit of a problem. I think he stopped, almost stopped dead, but the front two are getting away, and the Jaguar didn't get up into third place. Thought it might have done, but the Maserati Quattroporte edged him out, and I think that's Cini there. Just going through in fourth place. Max Pigoli leads the race. Michele Cerruti right behind him. Then behind her, Bertolini, then Cini, then Thomas Biaggi. Johnny Herbert in sixth place retains his grid start position. Then Dromedari, Serki, Armetta, and Luigi Ferrara in 10th place. Stefano Gabellini chasing him as well. But he's way down on Luigi Ferrara. Ferrara at the back of that group that we're just going through there. That's Max Pigoli out in front. We used to seeing him in the all-black Mercedes. Now it's white. But look who's going with him as well. Michele Cerruti. And being dropped a little bit is Bertolini in the Maserati, holding up the supercharged for the Jaguar of Cini right behind him. And then last year's champion Thomas Biaggi being chased by Johnny Herbert. Johnny Herbert's got the new front of the car. Has to watch out for BMW. Is going to swap places with him. Serki in front of Ferrara. And Ferrara right at the back of the grid, on board in the Quattroporte with Bertolini. And he's looking for a bit more speed down the straight because these C63 AMGs are phenomenally quick. But here comes a corner, and Michele Cerruti still not confident enough to throw that Mercedes in. And there's a battle behind him. Johnny Herbert is struggling to maintain his position in front of Dromedari and Ferrara, and Alberto Suzuki as well. Sweeping through the corner. Max Pigoli extending his lead over Michele Cerruti now, and Cerruti is in danger of being caught by the Quattroporte behind her. These three being chased down by Cini. Johnny Herbert once again. This is the battle again for third place. Luigi Ferrara still can't do anything. He's put his lights on, but that's not going to do any good because Bertolini driving defensively to try to keep Ferrara behind him. Bertolini looks like he can't do anything about Michele Cerruti in front of him, but he definitely wants, within the next 10 minutes or so, to keep Luigi Ferrara behind him. Max Pigoli still with that lead out in front. Oh, Ferrara's gone past. That's Ferrara, so something's definitely happened to Bertolini. The Maserati Quattroporte not in the picture. And I think maybe his defensive driving might have caught him out. We didn't see, it was off camera, but Luigi Ferrara now into third place. And now Michele Cerruti is under pressure. Looks like there's nothing that can be done. Luigi Ferrara has shot his bolt. He's thrown everything at trying to get past Michele Cerruti in front of him. Max Pigoli controlling the race from the front. Cerruti still pushing, just in that she might finally have a chance to get past teammate Max Pigoli. Max won't want that at all unless his car is sick. Luigi Ferrara still with his lights on. It saps power from the engine, don't you know? Now Michele Cerruti right on the tail of Max Pigoli, and I think Max wants to cross the line right next to Michele Cerruti. Well, who wouldn't want to stand next to the gorgeous Michele Cerruti? But you don't really want to be next to her on a racetrack. Checkered flag comes out. Max Pigoli wins, Cerruti second, and Luigi Ferrara. It's a 1-2-3 for Mercedes. And look at this. Johnny Herbert still trying to keep Alberto Suzuki behind him. He's braking, can't do it, running out of road. He's run out of road. Johnny Herbert on the final lap trying to keep Suzuki behind him. Hasn't been able to do it. Has to park it in the gravel unless he can keep it going just to get some points. Alberto Suzuki comes home in 5th place. Tom Biaggi in 4th. Alberto Suzuki in 5th. Stefano Gabellini from Fabrizio Armetta in 7th place. Johnny Herbert still trying to regain the racetrack. Losing my voice here. Checker flag is out and Static still not waving it. Romagnoli's just gone across the line. Johnny Herbert still to cross the finish line. He needs to get a top 10 position, needs to score points. Johnny Herbert. It's Tom Biaggi. I think we're on the onboard camera. It was Tom Biaggi because it's right behind Andrea Chiesa in the Maserati Quattroporte. Max Pigoli is going to control the start of the race. Everybody looking for a line to get through. Maserati is again put the foot down, but the Mercedes have got it, and Michele Cerruti sweeps past as well. Max Pigoli goes past. I think Francesco Cini is going to have a look as well up the inside, and the Quattroporte has lost out big style here because it's on the wrong side for the corner. He's still pushing hard, but I think retaining 3rd place is the best he can do. Michele Cerruti into 2nd place. Andrea Chiesa and the Maserati Quattroporte into 3rd. Just been passed a note saying Johnny Herbert's out, so we haven't been able to see Johnny Herbert in the race. Look out for him. Johnny Herbert is number 48. If you don't see number 48, looks like he's already out of the race. Tyres smoking as I think that's Luigi Ferrara, and everybody going every which way. And that is at the Roggia. So the Roggia catching a lot of people out through Lesmo 1 and 2. And coming down to Seraglio. And once again, Max Pigoli has got the launch on everybody else. It's Luigi Ferrara who took that wide line into the Roggia, and he's still hounding Andrea Chiesa. Sure, that's Chiesa on board with the Maserati Quattroporte, and then Cini and Biaggi. So Cini's got a great start. Number 32, that's Tatumlu. He's gone off. Can rejoin the race. Isaac Tatumlu in the Campos Racing BMW, getting it all wrong there. And Luigi Ferrara's on a perfect line for the inside, takes 3rd place away from Andrea Chiesa. Chiesa won't like that at all, but things really do need to settle down here. Getting tagged from behind, and it was Tatumlu who missed out on that. Somebody getting their braking wrong. But Tatumlu able to rejoin, although he's bringing a load of gravel with him. Out in front, Max Pigoli. In front of Michele Cerruti, then Luigi Ferrara, Andrea Chiesa, Francesco Cini, Tom Biaggi, Romagnoli, Armetta, Gabellini, Cherki. The lone figure of Andrea Chiesa in the Maserati Quattroporte in a lonely 5th place, 5 seconds down off Cini and 7 seconds in front of Diego Romagnoli. It wasn't what Andrea was thinking about. Max Pigoli, that's the reason. Max Pigoli's got a bit of a problem. And I did think to myself, is he going slow? Is that the reason that Luigi Ferrara was able to pass him? Max Pigoli, oh, that has been devastating for the pole sitter and first race winner. Will be out of this race. He's nursing the car around the track, but I can't see that he's going to be able to do anything else other than pull into the pits on this. So Max Pigoli out of this. That means Cini has gone up into 3rd place. Chiesa goes up into 4th. And that's Luigi Ferrara. Luigi Ferrara running way off the track. And didn't seem to lose a lot of time, though, on the grass. Just in a straight line. So it looks like Luigi Ferrara, it's got his own set of problems under braking. Oh, no, it's an engine problem. Definite. No, it's not. It's a tyre. So going across the gravel has really put paid to Luigi Ferrara's challenge. He's off the track. He's still fast. He knows he's got a problem there. But Michele Cerruti is going to sweep past him. And who can catch Michele Cerruti now that Luigi Ferrara is out of this? Because Francesco Cini is 11 seconds down on this. Michele Cerruti, after chasing and showing what she can do in qualifying, and the tyre is absolutely destroyed on Luigi Ferrara's car. Who would have thought it? Max Pigoli, the first one to go, and an engine problem seems to have put him out. Luigi Ferrara kept looking and seeing Michele Cerruti in the pink Mercedes, which is sliding out. No, she can't do this. Under braking, the tyres seem to have gone. Get it in gear. She's got time to do this. Really needs to keep it all together. Michele Cerruti under braking. The end swap on her Mercedes, and all of a sudden, Francesco Cini is right in her mirrors. A cruel blow. It looks like the tyres on these Mercedes have really been shot. Look at this. Cini now having a look up the inside. He would have seen that in front of him. Wasn't far enough to know that, but Michele Cerruti is still keeping Cini on the outside line, coming through the parabolica onto the start-finish line. But Cini is just going to bide his time. He saw that Michele Cerruti, any focus at all. Max Pigoli on track, and he's in front of Cerruti, but Max Pigoli out of this race, still circulating, but he's down in 11th place. And Cini's now having a go at Andrea Chiesa, manages to get past. Chiesa won't like that because that's the last podium spot. Swaps to the other side, sees if Cini has got a problem, and all he can hope for is that Cini's got a problem with the engine at the final flag. But as the flag drops, as the flag waves, Michele Cerruti takes the win here. Francesco Cini comes out of the parabolica and takes, Cini takes second place. Chiesa on a podium for third place. Would have liked second, but it doesn't matter. Romagnoli in fourth place. Circi beats Gabellini to the line.
And after the first of 8 meetings, there was a surprise leader in the championship, Michele Cerruti, thanks to a win and runner-up finish. 19-year-old rookie Alberto Suzuki is third ahead of Ferrara, and 2010 champion Thomas Biaggi is sixth.
Pace car goes away. Bertolini puts his foot down. Ferrara goes with him. Behind him, Armeta's been a little bit swamped by the BMWs. I think Gabellini has got in there, and it's possible that there's another BMW in there as well. So far, 34 off the track. And a couple of coming together as well, and I think that is the Cadillac, which has come off worse on the inside of the track. Bertolini, Luigi Ferrara, and possibly Stefano Gabellini, I think, in third place. But yeah, definitely looked like the Cadillac, which was out in the grass. Probably Roberto Benedetti. This was the start. I think Armando Dionisio getting it all a little bit wrong out the back there. And right, no, there wasn't. It's not. Don't know who it was from the middle of the grid. Have to look back on that a little bit later on. Oh, it's one of the. Of course, it's one of the Jaguars. Got tagged by Tom Biaggi there. So possibly Francesco Cini it was. And I thought it looked like a Cadillac from the back. I think it was that big wing that put me off. Bertolini out in front. Ferrara. Max Pigoli now. It's Max Pigoli on board with Tom Biaggi. You can see now he's right behind Max Pigoli. This is the battle on track. Max Pigoli will know he's there. Will have been warned that Tom Biaggi, the champion from last year, is on his case and wants a podium position. Max Pigoli, though, is a hard driver, and he's got some serious power underneath him. But it is late in the race, and those tyres may hold him up a little bit. Out of the corner, not a problem, especially over the start and finish straight. Won't have an issue. He's got a lot of power in that Mercedes, but it's getting into the corners, driving through them, and getting out with a line that will keep Tom Biaggi behind him. Tom Biaggi soaring at the wheel, trying to get a line on Max Pigoli. Pigoli holding him up. 54 seconds left in this race. And up the inside, Tom Biaggi, and he's got the line as well. And there's nothing Max Pigoli can do about it. It's only 870-metre track. But if he can get position for the corner, Tom Biaggi doesn't let him, because the next one is a left-hander. Don Biaggi doesn't give him position for the corner. Max Pigoli not giving up without a fight. Attacks again, but he's on the wrong line for the corner, out in the marbles. Tries to cut in tight. And this was the passing manoeuvre. Tom Biaggi knows that Max Pigoli's got a heavier car. End of the race, and the tyres can be a problem. But Max Pigoli has got some power under that bonnet, but he was on the slippery part of the track. Couldn't put that power down onto the track, and Tom Biaggi sweeps past and covers the line for the next corner as well. That was the replay. Here we are back live. Tom Biaggi now in third place. Max Pigoli chasing, but you're at the edge of the tyres, edge of the grip at the end of this race with the Michelins, and there's nothing you can do. You can see chasing hard but under braking and turning, swings right, swings wide. The tyres are not letting him do what the BMW can do this late in the race. Tom Biaggi in third place now, but he's 10 seconds down on Gigi Ferrara. Won't be able to do anything about that. The race is now down to this final lap, and Bertolini, your leader, controlling it from the front. Crosses the start-finish line to start the final lap of the race. The clock has been wound down. One lap yet to go. It says warm-up lap. It's not warm-up lap. This is the final lap. Bertolini, nothing left to prove. 144.3, Ferrara 144.2. Ferrara is still racing hard, 2.3 seconds behind. Bertolini, though, an old hand at this kind of racecraft, will know what Ferrara is trying to do. Keep the pressure on. You'll always keep the pressure on till the last moment, because if you don't, you might not be able to take advantage of a momentary lapse of concentration, which can happen to even the best of drivers. Bertolini, though, it's not going to happen to him. Round the back of the circuit, and Ferrara can do nothing about it. Tom Biaggi's done what he needed to do. There we go, final lap, number 33 on board with Andrea Bertolini. Dominated from start to finish after even out-qualifying everybody in the wet. There's Tom Biaggi. And Max Pigoli passing a Latz Jaguar behind him. Bertolini downhill to the Champi-Herreros for the final time. Into the Champi-Herreros. Now the long left-hander down the final corner at Adrian Campos. And no problems at all. Sweeps past like a fighter jet. Bertolini into Campos, out on the start-finish straight, and crosses the finish line as the winner of race one here at Valencia. Luigi Ferrara 1.5 seconds behind. But Bertolini had eased off definitely in the final lap. Ferrara still had his pedal to the metal. Tom Biaggi, 11 seconds later, crosses the finish line in third place. Max Pigoli in fourth. Stefano Gabellini in fifth place. Johnny Herbert. Lights to go out. Bertolini controlling the race, and he's got the pedal to the metal. Got his lights on already, but Luigi Ferrara is going with him as well. We'll have to figure out a little bit later on who's being sorted out in the back. I can see Fabrizio Armetta pulling out to the outside, but Luigi Ferrara, under braking. So that weight penalty, just 10 kilograms, means that he can get into the lead. But Sandro Bettini is not wasting any time, just shows him a little bit of a nose through the Mick Doohan corner as they come down to the back of the circuit. It's a big incident in the middle of the track. Wasn't too sure can't see the number on that. It might be Cherky, not sure. Can't see the number. This is on board with Bertolini, and Luigi Ferrara, with the power of that Mercedes, slips in front of him on the first corner. This is a replay of the start. Gigi Ferrara lead-footed and sweeps across the front, and behind them it's all over the place for a lot of the cars. We'll see a little bit later on. Ferrara leads out in front of Bertolini. Pigoli, Max Pigoli, a great start for Pigoli. He's managed to retain his place in third. Then Stefano Gabellini, Armetta, Francesco Cini, the Jaguar, Folito Motors Jaguar, number 41 up to sixth place. Johnny Herbert's in seventh. Tom Biaggi in eighth. Romagnoli ninth. Hernandez down to 10th place. Hermano Dionisio lost out big time. Alberto Suzuki didn't get the start he wanted. He's in 12th place. And then it's Cecchi, Michele Cerruti 14th, Linossi Bettini, Nico Calderola, and then Giacomi in 18th place. That is just a look down at what's happening. Number 23, Hernandez going through. Your picture, the Campos Racing wanting to do a lot better here. Gigi Ferrara already starting to gap Andrea Bertolini. And he's going to try it under braking. Stefano Gabellini knows that he can nip through to the inside, and that's exactly what he does. But out of the corner, Max Pigoli has got a lot of torque, and that was always the problem. Can do it into the corner. You can outbrake somebody into the corner, but can you keep the power on the pedal to the metal going out of here? Swings him wide. In fact, leaves Stefano Gabellini out to dry, and driving out of the corner, Max Pigoli and the Mercedes has got the power to keep the BMW behind it. And that's one thing that Stefano Gabellini didn't want. Has to do it all over again and try to get past under braking. Max Pigoli holding his line. 2 minutes 45 seconds left in this race, plus 1 lap. So it's a huge battle over third place. Gigi Ferrara still controlling it at the front. Bertolini closed down to within under a second of Ferrara at the front. Look at this battle for third place. On the straights, there's nothing you can do about Max Pigoli. But Stefano Gabellini will try to be holding his line. One of the BMWs trying to get out of the way here. That'll hold Max Pigoli up in the corner. Stefano Gabellini will be having a look at that. Back marker holding people up. Not too much, that's good. Max Pigoli gets through. Tries to keep his speed rolling, but gets tagged. That's what it was. That's that's somebody else. That's Alberto Suzuki tagging somebody whose number I just missed out of. Mauro Cesare. In front of Luigi Cecchi now. The second of the Felito Motors Jaguars relegated by that 300C Chrysler. The battle opened a little bit now between Pigoli and Gabellini, but closed down between Ferrara and Bertolini. Under 1.5 minutes left in this race. Bertolini now starting to make his charge on Gigi Ferrara in front of him. Max Pigoli back into third place. Stefano Gabellini in fourth, and Tom Biaggi has been able to close that gap. Tom Biaggi right behind Stefano Gabellini now. Teammates together. And Gabellini won't actually want to let Tom Biaggi pass because he's already in a battle, but if he's forced to, he will. Needs to close up on Max Pigoli now, but closing up on Gigi Ferrara. Bertolini now 0.6 of a second behind him. 45 seconds of this race to go. They get an extra lap. Gigi Ferrara now starting to get a little bit of a twitch on, but Bertolini still seems very, very settled with that machine. It's a straight fight over fourth because I think Pigoli has been able to get away from Gabellini. On board with Tom Biaggi looking at the back of Stefano Gabellini in front of him. Straight fight between teammates. I don't think Stefano Gabellini is going to wave him past this time as he did in the first race. I could be wrong. Don't think there are any team orders here at all. Max Pigoli still with the gap over Stefano Gabellini and being able to open it, and that's unusual because I thought the Gabellini and the BMWs would hold their tyres better. What he won't do though is take his teammate off Gabellini. If he knows that Tom Biaggi's on a passing manoeuvre, he won't shut the door and slam him out of this race. On board number 48 Romeo Ferraris, Johnny Herbert, and Johnny, well, something definitely wrong with the car there. Did say that he wouldn't have let Tom Biaggi through unless something had upset the handling. Tom Biaggi soaring at the wheel here, trying to find some way to get past his teammate Gabellini. Will he be able to do it under braking? Not close enough this time. Gabellini closes the door again. This is for fourth place, remember. Gigi Ferrara and Bertolini cross the start and finish line for their final lap, and the gap has opened up on the front. Gigi Ferrara has been able to hold Bertolini off. This is the final lap of the race. The battle now over fourth place. Pigoli ensconced in third place. These three have got away, and Tom Biaggi still trying to get past. Will he do it under braking? Stefano Gabellini on the outside, still got the line into the corner, but he's run wide. Tom Biaggi might be able to get the drive for the corner. He hasn't been able to do it. I told you Gabellini was a good driver. Tom Biaggi, last year's champion, still hasn't been able to get past his teammate. He's desperate to do so, but doesn't have the room. Gabellini holding him off for fourth place. A huge battle here. Can Tom get past? Can he find any way past on the back end of the circuit? As Gigi Ferrara and Bertolini and Pigoli pass one of the Jaguars, and still we're looking at this battle over fourth place. Tom Biaggi still unable to get past. Doesn't have too many corners to do it now. Gigi Ferrara, such confidence, just tooling around the paddock area on a scooter most of the afternoon. I told him that he should go in for motorcycle racing if he loves that scoot so much. But open the gap now. Bertolini can't do anything about it. Gigi Ferrara is going to take this win on Max Pigoli. Great to see him stay with Bertolini, but you can see how Bertolini has suffered. Just that 30 kilograms extra weight on the Maserati has meant that a 10 kilo difference. That means that Ferrara takes the second race of the day here, and was that Gabellini.
Well, with the win in race 2, Luigi Ferrara moved to the top of the championship, 8 points ahead of Massimo Piggioli. Michele Cerruti dropped to equal third with Andrea Bertolini, who scored his first win of the season in race 1.
And more Mercedes and BMW and the Maserati Quattroporte of Andrea Chiesa. That's as they go across the line, being controlled from the front by Alberto Suzuki. Who's going to put the foot down? Who's got the power? And I think Bertolini's got the power, but he's got the extra weight as well. So can Suzuki get away and maybe take Thomas Biaggi with him on the inside? Biaggi's right up behind Suzuki. Bertolini a little bit too far in front at the moment, and Suzuki's holding them all up. Red lights are on. Suzuki's put his foot down. Bertolini was trying to go with him, and I think it's been held up by that extra weight. Tom Biaggi up the inside. Can he stay on the inside? And there's a Mercedes who's gone up into third place as well. It's quite possibly Johnny Herbert. Johnny Herbert into third place behind Bertolini. But Suzuki leading this one out, and I think Tom Biaggi's gone with him. I think Fabrizio Armetta is locking up a little bit in the corner there. Michele Cerruti right next to, well, she's right behind number 58. So Ricardo Romagnoli's had a great start, but Alberto Suzuki out in front, followed by Tom Biaggi, and then Bertolini and Johnny Herbert in fourth place, and Stefano Gabellini. Gabellini didn't get the start he wanted, then Ferrara and Romagnoli together, Michele Cerruti and Fabrizio Armetta. Well, Cerruti got the best of teammate Pigoli, because Pigoli's down in 10th place. Then Francesco Cini and Andrea Chiesa in 11th and 12th, Hernandez, Lunossi, Giacomi, Tatumlu, Dromedari, Bettini. That's the way it goes on board. Number 23, Sergio Hernandez in 13th place in a big battle with Andrea Chiesa. And both of the Carl Racing Mercedes together, Ferrara and Romagnoli in 6th and 7th place. Looking at the battle for the front. Oh, who's gone through? Number 2, Stefano Gabellini. A great pass on Johnny Herbert. Herbert's come back, but he needs the power and needs to go around the outside. Those BMWs are very, very nimble. They are BMW Italia, basically a works machine here. BMW came across to this class from WTCC because they thought this was the future of racing. It's certainly looking at it as well. On board, number 48, Johnny Herbert. In front of him, Stefano Gabellini. Doesn't want Gabellini to get away, but these are big, heavy cars, and you should have the advantage going up the hill. Stefano Gabellini said he has to drive so precisely here, because if he makes a little bit of a mistake coming out of the corner going up the hill, the big Mercedes will have him. Michele Cerruti has split both the Carl Racing Mercedes, bit offline as well. That's number 48, Johnny Herbert. 4th place for Johnny. Stefano Gabellini's got ahead of him, but he's still fighting. Look at this. Look at this. Fabrizio Armeta's trying to get in the mix as well. Number 58, Romagnoli. Having a quick Di Giacomi. And they're looking at that front wheel, so dejected Di Giacomi coming into the pits. And let's see if we can get it off without more damage. Bertolini, number 33, on board with him, 6 seconds down on the lead and 2.4 down on on Cherky. So he's not going to be doing anything about second place. Can Gabellini do anything about him as well? Gabellini is exactly the same distance behind him as Bertolini is behind Cherky. Johnny Herbert, 12 seconds down on Gabellini. Can't do anything about it, but Johnny Herbert's coming to the pits. Herbert's coming to the pits. Ferrara's taken over 5th place. Johnny Herbert's in the pits. Lost that 5th place, so Ferrara will have that. Armeta will have him, and Piggoli, and once again, the Romeo Ferrari's number 48 in the pits. And once again, right towards the end of the race. And it's all over for Johnny Herbert. He takes a lot of this in his stride. He doesn't kick cans around the paddock or throw chairs and tables at anything. He's a well-seasoned racer, still a very, very fast racer, but inside you can see, I think, sometimes that he's just maybe leaving a big sigh to say, come on, this has got to happen. Looking at Tom Biaggi, so under a minute left, plus one more lap after this. Then Cherky's behind him by just under 4 seconds. Currently leading the race and controlling it from the front. Bertolini, then Gabellini, and then it will be Gigi Ferrara in 5th place. Armeta, Piggoli, Michele Cerruti, Andrea Chiesa, Romagnoli will be the final point scorer in 10th place. But Johnny Herbert going out again, so probably a problem with the front, but unfortunately just to probably test the car because he comes out behind Andrea Chiesa. And I think that was possibly Tambusi who went past him, but it's quite possible if he can chase Chiesa to even salvage a point out of this for Johnny. But possibly not, because it might be an extra lap down. So yes, I think it's an extra lap down. On board with Bertolini in 3rd place. Race is over, 1 lap left to go. Tom Biaggi, your leader by quite a way, beaten his teammate Alberto Cherky. And Gabellini has been held off by Bertolini so far. And there's Fabrizio Armeta coming under pressure from Max Piggoli for the final lap of the race, so Max Piggoli might be able to get something here. Max Piggoli in 7th place, Armeta in 6th now. Michele Cerruti way down on this battle by 4.3 seconds. She was really suffering from being held up by Romagnoli for far too long, 15 minutes of the race. So couldn't challenge with her teammate on Fabrizio Armeta, who got past Romagnoli very, very early on and built a 2-3 second gap before anybody else was able to get past. On board with Tom Biaggi. This is it, across the start-finish line. And he didn't put the flag out. Thank goodness for that. This is the final lap. I think somebody woke the flagman out in the final race. Put the checkered flag out before, on the end of the race, but before the final lap. 1 lap early. So everybody was waved, but luckily all the drivers knew they had to do an extra lap. And Biaggi does know he needs to do that. Alberto Cherky still behind him, will not be challenging. Tom Biaggi, who brought his own 2 Brolly girls to the track, lovely Lucy and Douglas, and Anna Lucia Thackeray, and even designed their outfits for them. So confident was he of the resurgence of BMW here at Portimão. Wasn't expecting, actually, although, you know, champions always think that they're going to win the race. But with Cherky and the lap time that he put in qualifying, maybe there was a little bit of doubts in Tom Biaggi's mind. But look at this, number 2. Gabellini's right on Bertolini's case. Where did that come from? Right at the end of this. Could Gabellini get past and sneak a 1-2-3 for BMW Italia? You know he's trying hard, and he will be trying in the corners, be waiting for the braking and to go offline for Bertolini. Final lap of the race, he's right up close. Can he get up the inside? Definitely can. Bertolini can do nothing about it. Swings out wide. Oh, that is brilliant for Stefano Gabellini. Brilliant for BMW Italia, and that's the reason why. The tyres are shot on Bertolini's car. Needs to nurse that across the line. It's a flat tyre, a flat left-hand tyre. Bertolini might even lose. No, he's got 18 seconds over Ferrara. She'll be able to get this home. At least you're hoping. Checker flag goes out. Biaggi crosses the line. Cherky, second place, 2.5 seconds down. Then it will be Stefano Gabellini. Gabellini, a 1-2-3 for BMW Italia. And Bertolini, oh, that last lap and the tyre problems he's had. So a blown, and he comes across the line with smoke pouring from the tyre. And he'll pull over as soon as he can. Hope that no damage is being done to the rest of the car from bits of tyre coming off from there. Bertolini, fourth place. Then Gigi Ferrara, Fabrizio Armetta, Max Pigoli, and Michele Cerruti in 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th.
Now, race 1 winner Thomas Biaggi got the best start in race 2. Putting him ahead of Andrea Bertolini, Alberto Suzuki and Luigi Ferrara. However, Riccardo Romagnoli got it all wrong on the opening lap. Well, Andrea Bertolini got the better of Thomas Biaggi and moved into the lead of the race. So that left Biaggi in a battle for second place with his teammate Alberto Suzuki. Meanwhile, Andrea Chiesa got past Riccardo Romagnoli for 6th place. The Gabellini Ferrara Herbert trio battling for third, but late in the race, Bertolini leads. And then Johnny Herbert retires with the tyre issues, as was the case in race 1. And Thomas Biaggi takes the win ahead of teammates Suzuki and Gabellini. And thanks to his 2 wins at Portimão, Thomas Biaggi now leads the championship ahead of Luigi Ferrara and Massimo Piggioli, which mirrors the season-ending order of last year's championship.
Pace cars come in. Look at the sides of that Maserati right next to Cherky on the front row of the grid. The power's going down now, and it does look like Andrea Bertolini has got a bit of a flyer off the front in front of Cherky, and I think that was Herbert going round the outside. Number 5, Armetta, is getting into the mix as well, but hung out to dry on the outside, and that is Herbert who's gone into second place, but Bertolini leads them down through Craners. Herbert right next to him. Cherky's lost a little bit, and Luigi Ferrara is desperate to try and get past. That's Alberto Suzuki in the black Jaguar a little bit further down, but also the new boy in the other Maserati is down there as well, number 58. Oh, he's gone off as well, Riccardo Romagnoli from the 7th row of the grid, and he won't be able to get back from there. So Luigi Ferrara's teammate already out of the race of race 1. He'll get a second chance at it, but Andrea Bertolini with the Maserati Quattroporte is leading the race. Johnny Herbert determined not to let him get away. That is a fantastic car, and everybody's been scared of it when they first saw it at the first round at Monza, but he's had bad luck as well. Getting out of the way big time onto the grass for one of the RGA Sportsmanship BMWs. Number 73, Tramontozzi. Taking a very, very wide line, way out into the gravel. So 2 minutes left plus 1 more lap. And Pierre Guidi's coming under threat still from Tom Biaggi. That's Bertolini, number 33, leading this race by 2.5 seconds. Well, it was 2.5 seconds, but it really has closed down because Johnny Herbert put in his fastest lap last time out, 1:34.7. And that was half a second faster than Bertolini in front of him, and that's the reason he's closing up now. Bertolini has his tyres gone. Has Johnny Herbert been able to manage his tyres here? Doesn't have long to do it. 1:30, so once they come out of the Melbourne Loop, they will cross the start and finish line, so they'll get another 2 laps at this. Bertolini will cross the start and finish line before the end of race time. And he's really braking carefully now, trying to get the power down. Did he notice the back end of that Maserati swing wide as Johnny Herbert can smell the exhaust of that Maserati in front of him. They'll get another 2 laps of this, so Herbert still pushing hard on. 1.2 seconds down from just over 3 seconds the gap. Now 1.2 to Bertolini. Johnny Herbert pushing for all he's worth now to try to close that gap on Bertolini. Alberto Suzuki 2.6 seconds behind Herbert. Ferrara 2.3 seconds behind Suzuki, so it's all open behind him. The battle is at the front. Can Bertolini hold off? That's Pierre Guidi that we're looking at in 6th place at the moment, but number 46, Pierre Guidi, that's not the battle that's important at the moment. That's the second of the Maserati Quattroportes. The battle we want to see is between Bertolini and Herbert at the front. Herbert just putting in his fastest speed of the session, 222 kilometers an hour versus Bertolini's 216. So that really is closing up now at the front. There we go, Bertolini down into the Melbourne Loop. We'll have one more lap after this. Johnny Herbert not as close as he wanted to be, didn't make up as much as he wanted on that last lap. But it could be less than a second as they cross the start and finish line. Bertolini controlling it. Again, the back end steps out, but he's only got this final lap to do it in. Johnny Herbert closing in, 1.1 seconds behind, not less than a second. Johnny has got the scent of possible victory here. How hard can he push? It's a matter of managing the tyres that you've got at the moment. Can he close up to Bertolini? It needs Bertolini just to make a tiny, tiny mistake. You can see the twitchiness now with these worn Michelins that Johnny Herbert's on. The final lap. And he can see that gap stretching out. Bertolini and the Maserati Quattroporte have got the power to match the Romeo Ferrari's Mercedes behind him, but has he still got the grip? Can Johnny Herbert do anything in his final part of the lap as they go up into Coppice? Then we go down the Dunlop straight to the Foggy S's, out of the double apex, down to the Foggy S's. Bertolini, the gap is not close enough for anything to Johnny to do at the moment. He says the Melbourne hairpin is a good passing place, but he doesn't rate Goddard's. He's not close enough to do it. Down into the Foggy S's, down the hill now into the GP part of the circuit. He is close. Is he close? He's not close enough to do anything about it. Bertolini, only one more corner to go for this. Up to Goddard's. Johnny Herbert is as close as he's ever going to get, but knows that he can't do anything about it. There will be no mistake from Bertolini through this final corner. Drives out of Goddard's across the start and finish line. Bertolini takes a win in race 1. Johnny Herbert in second place. Alberto Suzuki, 3.3 seconds will be crossing the finish line. Then Ferrara, then Montanari. Now did Biaggi get in front of Pierre Guidi? No, he didn't. Bertolini gets a good go, but Gigi Ferrara's gone with him as well, and there was no place for Johnny Herbert to go. He's stuck on the outside. It's Gigi Ferrara who gets into second place, and Johnny Herbert spun. He got tagged from behind. Johnny Herbert has spun out. He needs to keep the tyres going, see if he can get back on track, but it's all over at the moment for Johnny Herbert. I think he was tagged from behind by Alberto Suzuki, and Gigi Ferrara is the one who benefits from that. And Johnny Herbert at his home race wanting to do so well, and we always thought that Alberto Suzuki was a bit of a loose cannon. Here they come out of the start. It was Alberto Suzuki who just tugged him at the rear, and with the power down, you've got your foot heavy on the metal there. And Johnny Herbert spins round, keeps the engine going, keeps the tyres going, tries to get some grip from damp grass, but Bertolini doing what he wants out in front. Remember behind him, Gigi Ferrara, who has got that Mercedes handling, as we saw at Portimão, a little bit like a go-kart. He's got it handling so well, and he put in the fastest lap of the race last time out. Look for these: Bertolini, Ferrara, Cherki, Pierre Guidi, then Montanari. Biaggi is up to 6th place. Pigoli had a good start as well, up to 7th place. It's Cini, Armetta, Gabellini was the big loser on that in 10th place. Then Romagnoli, Cerruti, Cesari, and Di Giacomi, Cecchi, Ascani, Herbert in 17th place, but still rejoins in front of Dromedari. That's what we've got at the moment. Gigi Ferrara puts in the fastest time, but it's Bertolini still out in front. Gigi Ferrara has had 2 goes at passing him. Cherki starting to close back up, as is Pierre Guidi. So only a small gap between them, and I think Cherki is definitely on the charge. Tom Biaggi up to 5th place now. Brilliant for Biaggi. So he is leading the pack behind this 4 that you see on your camera at the moment. In 4th place, Alessandro Pierre Guidi. Pierre Guidi has a look out the inside. Oh, Cherki! Cherki got a little bit wide. Pierre Guidi just takes all advantage he can from that. That is unusual from Cherki. Cherki will want to come straight back, but look at this. The new boy. Well, smoking a little bit of the tyres and a little bit wide was Pierre Guidi. And Cherki well down on them as well. Number 48, Johnny Herbert. And Tom Biaggi having another look. Oh, I had to cut the corner there, did Pierre Guidi. Tom Biaggi is not giving him an inch. The wrong side for the corner. Pierre Guidi is going to have to brake late. And this is what Tom Biaggi wants. He wants him to smoke his tyres. He's in the wrong position for the drive up to the hill. Pierre Guidi needs to use all the power of the Maserati to do it. Once again, Tom Biaggi has a look at the outside. Hopes that... but look at that. By going to the outside, he's left the door open. He's pushed down on the grass. Keeps the pedal to the metal. But that's Max Pigoli. Max Pigoli now ruins everything. And Christian Montanari alongside him as well. Now it's Cherki and Tom Biaggi again together on the track. He had it in mind to sweep to the inside where Pierre Guidi came out of Goddard's. But it was Max Pigoli who was right behind him, who took the offered open door and swept through. They are on the final lap. There's Johnny Herbert still in 8th place. Got Alberto Cherki in front of him. But your leader, Andrea Bertolini, 3.7 seconds in front of Gigi Ferrara. Through all of this, I didn't think Gigi Ferrara could hold on. He did hold on. He extended his lead over Pierre Guidi. And Pierre Guidi is smirking now because he knows he should be able to hold that place and get both of the Maseratis onto the podium. Max Pigoli in front of Montanari, in front of Tom Biaggi. Tom Biaggi will be spitting nails, but he's got himself to blame for that because he should have been looking in his mirrors if he wanted to pass Pierre Guidi, to see that Max Pigoli is there. And Max, a big guy, somebody you wouldn't want to pick a fight with even out of the car. And still the fight goes on. Out of the final corner, Andrea Bertolini, a double victory for the Swiss team. Maserati Quattroporte, Gigi Ferrara, wonderful 2nd place under intense pressure, and it's a double for the Swiss team from being at the back of the grid for last year and the year before. Their new car has come good. 2 podium places for them. Pigoli.
Luigi Ferrara leads the way at the halfway point in the season with a 4-point advantage over Andrea Bertolini, who is coming on strong after a slow start to the campaign. They're followed by Biaggi, Pigoli and Cherki, who are still very much in the championship hunt.
So as they come round the bottom of Caro on this 4.226 kilometre track, turn 14, then into 15, the final turn will be Misano, which you can see through the slit, which is the visor, and onto the start-finish straight, and waiting for the pace car to pull out of the way. watch out for Tom Biaggi. Tom really does want to get a start on Alberto Suzuki, who's right next to him. And Suzuki, pole position on the left hand of your screen as they come around the final turn. And it will be Suzuki who will be controlling this from the front. Tom Biaggi will desperately want to get in front of him, and the Mercedes behind them will want to get the start. Suzuki has already put the hammer down, and Tom Biaggi's raced between two Mercedes, one on the inside, one on the outside, and both have gone past him. Tom Biaggi down into fourth place, and it is Gigi Ferrara who's come up into second place. Behind him, Luca Rangoni. Rangoni with the Roma Racing Mercedes. And it's been a little bit of a losing start for Tom Biaggi, for the champion. And that's definitely not what he wanted. Caught napping by both the Mercedes off the line, and definitely by his teammate riding with Andrea Bertolini. Behind all this, and like I say, definitely Suzuki, Ferrara, Rangoni, Biaggi, Piggoli, Gabellini, Herbert, Bertolini lost out big time to Johnny Herbert, who's into seventh place. Gabellini in front of him in sixth. And just look at it's Garofano, one of the ones, and Armando Dionisio spun as well. The top Audi RS4 is out. Four-wheel drive should be able to get going. But Garofano, Alessandro Garofano, the RJ Sportsmanship machine, out in the gravel, way out in the gravel. Number 69, don't think he'll get started from there. And a big tyre at the back, there's Armando Dionisio and Sandro Bettini as well, lost out. This is from the start, again on board with Tom Biaggi, and Rangoni getting past him, but Gigi Ferrara getting in front of Rangoni, slipping into second place. So fastest so far, Alberto Suzuki, and they're all going on the dust coming out of the final corner. Just 1 second behind him is Gigi Ferrara, then Rangoni, then Tom Biaggi, and Johnny Herbert up to fifth place in front of Max Piggoli, who's in front of Stefano Gabellini. Bertolini, Fabrizio Armenta's moving his way up the field. He's into ninth place. Christian Montanari in 10th, then Romagnoli and Dromedari. Francesco Cini, the first of the Jaguars, in 13th place. Michele Cerruti, that's number 99. Oh, it's sad to see. Oh no, Alex Jakovic's moving sport. In fact, 10 seconds between Dromedari, Romeo Ferraris, Mercedes and Dromedari, and the Campos Racing BMW of Hernandez. Once again, Tom Biaggi cuts to the outside, wants to see if Rangoni will leave him space or even have a little bit of a slide. He's gone, he has, he's had a bit of a slide, tried to put the power on, the rear wheels kick out, and that was all that Tom Biaggi wanted. Waiting for the tyres to go off. And Rangoni right back on his case. So Tom Biaggi finally got that place back. And Rangoni knows that it's only on the straights where he's able to do anything about the BMW. The BMW will outbrake him in corners. This time Rangoni, it was the front that clipped. Had to readjust his line, tried to put the power on to get it back, and the back end swung round. Tom Biaggi, no second invitation. Thank you very much. That's what I've been waiting for, but it's a little bit too late, buddy. Wanted that a long time ago. Armando Dionisio's just pulled along down pit lane. Looks like he's out of the race. So his race is run. Rangoni now starting to go wide, and Tom Biaggi pulling away. Rangoni now has the threats of Johnny Herbert right behind him. Johnny Herbert has done a Herculean job to close that gap on both of these and get away from Bertolini. Could it be Johnny Herbert next up to get amongst the players in the top four? Rangoni currently holding fourth place. Johnny Herbert right behind him now. Rangoni's tyres have gone way off. Johnny Herbert straight through. Johnny Herbert's last lap, 143.6, Biaggi's 143.4. Again, not quite close enough to get a podium. We've got 1 minute 40 seconds left of the race. This is Johnny Herbert seeing Rangoni go wide. And when the tyres go off here for Mercedes, they go off big style and forever. Johnny Herbert now into 4th place. But nobody will be able to catch Alberto Suzuki flying away, controlling it from the start. Ferrara 9.4 seconds behind him now. Then Biaggi 1.9 behind Ferrara. Rangoni, it said 1.1 behind him, but Johnny Herbert's already passed that. And into 4th place, Rangoni down to 5th, then Bertolini, Armetta, Romagnoli, Dromedari, Sergio Hernandez, Michele Ceruti still in 11th place, but way down. Actually, yes, 6 seconds down on Hernandez, even though she's put in. Baccarelli is out. It's 550i from right at the back of the grid. In fact, second to last is Racers 1. Run. Suzuki, 9.6 seconds as he crosses the stripe in front of Gigi Ferrara, then Tom Biaggi, then Johnny Herbert and Rangoni. So Johnny Herbert 2.5 seconds behind Biaggi, won't be able to do anything about that. But Tom Biaggi, what's Tom Biaggi got in mind? There's Romano Dionisio running wide, and that's the reason that he came into the pits. He's cut too much grass there. So, penultimate lap now for Alberto Suzuki. We'll have one more lap to do after this, but Tom Biaggi has got Gigi Ferrara in his sights. He's got this and one more lap to go. And it doesn't matter how long Rangoni held up Tom Biaggi for. Gigi Ferrara looks to be the next scalp that the 2010 champion will want to take. Alberto Suzuki, nothing behind. Fabrizio Armetta, and a big spin for him. Always happens at the end of the race. Romagnoli was right behind him, he's now got in front. So Riccardo Romagnoli in front of Armetta now, moves up to 7th place. And Gigi Ferrara, what can he do? Comes out of the final corner onto the start and finish straight. We're on board with Tom Biaggi. He sees Gigi Ferrara in front of him, knows there's nothing he can do on this, because Gigi Ferrara will use all the power he can muster, mister, to keep in front of that BMW. The corners, though, and Tom Biaggi will close right up, as he has done. It is the final lap. Can he do anything about it? There's Alberto Suzuki. Nothing's going to threaten him. Nearly 10 seconds in front of everybody. What would have happened if Tom Biaggi had been able to hold off those Mercedes at the start of this race? Suzuki, no problems for him. Tooling around on his final lap. We want to see what's happening over second, though. Can Tom Biaggi catch Gigi Ferrara? Can he pass him? That's another thing to ask. But the final lap for Alberto Suzuki. Not long to go now, and you can wait forever. There it is. There's the battle over second. Tom Biaggi is still with them. Tom Biaggi a chance at Gigi Ferrara as we watch Alberto Suzuki coming round the bottom of the circuit. Into Caro. Up the hill. And the lights go on as he comes into the final corner through Misano. Across the start and finish line, Alberto Suzuki will have this. What's happened behind them? What has happened behind Suzuki? Suzuki takes the win. Oh, it's Gigi Ferrara who retains second place. Tom Biaggi third. But Gigi Ferrara goes way off and kicks some dust up for his team, who are ecstatic on the wall that they've held him off.
Now on to race 2 then, and poleman Alberto Suzuki leads the way from Luca Ragnoni, Thomas Biaggi and Luigi Ferrara. Meanwhile, the going a little delicate on the opening lap of Montani and Garafano. Meanwhile, at the head of the race, Suzuki loses his lead to Ragnoni. While behind them, Ferrara and Peugeot get a little blot, and they drop down a few spots. Meanwhile, there's a spinner in the shape of Alessandro Pierguidi in the Maserati. After his podium in the opening race, Biaggi now struggling. Bertolini nudges his way past Suzuki to take second place on the course. But just a few corners later, Bertolini hit by Biaggi, and both lose all chance of finishing in the podium places. Luca Ragnoni then goes on for the win ahead of Johnny Herbert, who takes the second top three result of the season. Suzuki took third ahead of Gigi Ferrara. And so we're now in Belgium at Spa-Francorchamps for the sixth round of the season. And as the field heads through the famous La Source hairpin, it's Bertolini in the lead ahead of Johnny Herbert and Pierguidi. As the field go through there's a bit of contact as ever as the cars go on the attack for position. As we see there, Biaggi getting hit by Francesco Cini in his Jaguar. Unfortunate that then for Biaggi. Meanwhile, we're on board with Bertolini, cutting a swathe there through the field. And a great scrap for the lead there, and despite a few minor problems with the car late in the race, it's Johnny Herbert who crosses the line in third place in this race. Alessandro Bertolini taking his fourth win of the season ahead of Gigi Ferrara. Bertolini, though, the man delighted to be winning this race.
It's been a wonderful series so far, by far the best series I've actually commentated on, and just looking to be exactly the same. Pace car has pulled off. They're coming across the line across from the club paddock. Red light's on, red light about to go out. Bertolini taking the charge again. Gigi Ferrara tries to go around the outside, and once again on the outside it's Johnny Herbert squeezing through. He's done it again, and I think Francesco Cini wanted to have a go around the outside, but he's gone off the track. I don't think that Johnny Herbert's managed to get into second place this time. We'll have to look at it from the front. We're on board with Tom Biaggi. No, not quite. Pierguidi still has that. Gigi Ferrara in oh no, that's Cini. Cini has hit somebody behind him. Wasn't too sure who he hit, but that was going up the hill, across Eau Rouge, up through Radion, and Cini is out. Not too sure who's in front of him. I'm sure it was one of the BMWs though. So it might have been Tom Biaggi, but if it was, we would have seen an on-board lap with that. Gigi Ferrara goes a little bit wide. I think Max Pigoli is going to have a look at him in the next corner. Johnny Herbert slotted himself into second place. No, it wasn't. It's Cini still out on track, so it must have been Cecchi who got caught up there. So it's all going on here, and I think Ferrara has just got in front of Johnny Herbert, I think. So who is this? Let's get them right around. It's Max Pigoli, and Max Pigoli still racing with the bonnet up. You can still see the small gap in there, but it won't. He'll have to pull over. He's still racing because you can't go through the entire race with that. In second place with the bonnet up. How do you like that? Bertolini out in front, Max Pigoli in second place. Let's have a look again. Yes, it was Cecchi, and he lost it himself and hit somebody right next to him. So Luigi Cecchi out of the race, as one of the BMWs is as well. Bertolini from Pigoli, Perguidi, then Ferrara, then Johnny Herbert. Michele Cerruti is up there as well, but the timing screen not showing exactly what's going on here, because it's a long lap. Perguidi goes up the inside of Max Pigoli. So it wasn't Max with the bonnet up. And both the Maserati Quattroportes trying to keep first and second. Max Pigoli, you don't race harder than Max. Out brakes Perguidi. Perguidi tries to get the power on. Max is better at getting the power down. Gigi Ferrara tries to take advantage, tries to look around the outside, but unable to do anything about it. On board with Gigi Ferrara, number 54, right behind Perguidi. Perguidi in fourth place. Look at the speed he's got. Gigi Ferrara, where did that come from? Gets past Perguidi, now relegated to fourth place. Starts setting out after Max Pigoli in front of him. And Johnny Herbert right behind Perguidi now. But all this has meant that Andrea Bertolini able to get away. Flame spit out the back of that car racing Mercedes of Gigi Ferrara. Once again Perguidi having a look left and right, tries around the outside, way out there. That might give a chance for Johnny Herbert to get up the inside. Power down from the Maserati. Johnny Herbert unable to get through. They were having a look at that engine from Johnny Herbert's to see if there's anybody from Motec who could tell them what's going wrong with their fuel injection system, the engine management system, basically it is now. And so far, there isn't anything they can do. Nobody can find out what's going on. Max Pigoli starting to stretch away from Gigi Ferrara as Perguidi has another look around the inside. Johnny Herbert not in a position to take advantage of that at the moment. And look at the gap to Bertolini, and which surprises me, because I think Bertolini should be carrying an extra 30 kilos here. The speed of Gigi Ferrara as he goes for the overtake and puts his hand up. Bertolini, your leader. So number 1 and number 48, both Tom Biaggi and Johnny Herbert, we've just been informed, have to go up with their hands behind them and their chin down to see the stewards at the end of the session to explain what went on there. Number 18, Max Pigoli in second place. Bertolini, in fact that gap looks smaller. Bertolini, it's 2 seconds now, still 2 seconds between them. Bertolini controlling it, but Gigi Ferrara now, and the BMWs are catching Ferrara. That's unusual, 1.3 seconds between Gigi Ferrara in third and Tom Biaggi in fourth place. Tom Biaggi thinking he can go for this, he can get a podium out of the final corner, or the back of the track actually, coming down the back track up to Radial. That's Francesco Cini in sixth place, 2.4 seconds down on Gavellini. Gavellini and Biaggi together in a battle trying to chase down Ferrara. This is at the front. Bertolini, the camera shortens that distance, but there's 2 seconds between them. Bertolini out in front, Max Pigoli in second place, and Gigi Ferrara a lot further back than I thought he'd be. Gigi Ferrara under threat from the BMWs. Tom Biaggi really wants that place. Bertolini's got it covered for this lap, and in fact I think this might actually be the penultimate lap. We haven't seen a final lap flag come up yet, so I think there's one more lap after this. So Bertolini still really needs to keep concentrated here, because Max Pigoli is still in his mirrors, still hasn't been dropped. But I want to see the battle for third place and see what Gigi Ferrara is coming under threat from, and I think it's two big BMWs behind him. One of them piloted by last year's champion Tom Biaggi. Concentrating on your leader. Bertolini. A good race from him, able to run away from everybody else at the front. Lap 10. And there's Ferrara. Ferrara once again at the back of the track, under threat from Tom Biaggi. Now Tom has to go and see the stewards afterwards, but he'd like to do it from a podium position. But doesn't want to have the problems he had with Johnny Herbert. But as soon as you get a straight line, that Mercedes is long gone. You need some tight corners to be able to close up, and that's what Tom Biaggi's trying to do under brakes. And there's the checkered flag. It was the last lap. Bertolini across the finish line with a win for him. Gigi Ferrara holding both the BMWs up and keeping the line for that. Ferrara well across the line in third place. Tom Biaggi couldn't do anything about it. Gabellini right with him. Bertolini wins the race though. Max Pigoli in second place. Gigi Ferrara holds all the BMWs off for third place. Tom Biaggi is in fourth. Gabellini, teammate, BMW Italia in fifth place. Francesco Cini 3 seconds down on that battle. Good sixth place for him. Michele Cerruti makes it home in seventh place, 15.7 seconds down on, in seventh place, 15.7 seconds down on sixth. Then Dromedari right behind her. She managed to hold off her teammate. Johnny Herbert in ninth place. Reset the electronics, get going again. Losing all those places and all those points.
With his second double of 2011 after his Donington sweep, Andrea Bertolini stays in contact with points leader Luigi Ferrara with 2 rounds left. Biaggi and Suzuki struggle to Spa. They're now 36 and 43 points adrift of the leader. And so to the 7th round of the season in world-famous Mugello. And in the first race of the weekend is Alberto Suzuki, who gets the best start, going straight into the lead ahead of Pierre Guidi and Thomas Biaggi. And there's a coming together though at the end of the straight. Crabellini and Montagny running into each other there. Well, further up the field, Biaggi and Ferrara having a hell of a tight battle, as you can see. Plenty of drivers pushing their cars to the limit in this 7th of 8th rounds. And there's another accident this time. Escani and Bettini getting involved and finding themselves in the kitty litter. And there's a spinner there for Cerruti. Meanwhile, it's Alberto Suzuki who goes on for the win ahead of Alessandro Pierre Guidi. And so then on to the second race in Italy. And just like in the opening race of the weekend, it's rookie sensation Alberto Suzuki getting the best send-off. As usual, plenty of contact in the field as the positions shake out, while Pujoli overtakes Cini in the Jaguar. Well, there's Johnny Herbert overtaking Ferrara for position. Race leader Ragnoni has a little run-in with Pierre Guidi. Macarelli, of course, also going off. Johnny Herbert not having quite the impact here that he did in the previous round in Spa. And in the end, it's another win for 19-year-old Alberto Suzuki ahead of Thomas Biaggi and Massimo Pigioli.
Both of them, both Maseratis getting a great start here, and this is perfect for Andrea Bertolini. Gianni Morbidelli in the middle of three, going for a corner here, but both of the Maseratis out in front. Cherki in second place, and I think that's Tom Biaggi in fourth. All three BMWs there. Michele Cerruti's got a good start as well, and she's behind Stefano Gabellini on board with the number 54, Gigi Ferrara. Hasn't been able to do anything, and I think Gianni Morbidelli's ahead of him. Max Pigoli, I think. Christian Montanari's there as well, just in front of Gigi Ferrara. Ferrara, everybody's looking at, needs to be able to do something about this, but look at Bertolini go. Bertolini already opened up. It's over a second gap. That's nearly 2 seconds gap over his teammate Pierre Guidi, who's doing what a teammate should and holding everybody up behind him. And I tell you this, Alberto Suzuki will be desperate to get past. Cherki in third place, then Biaggi, Gabellini, Cerruti, Max Pigoli, Montanari, Morbidelli and Ferrara in 10th place. So he's made up two places so far. Can he do anything more? But it's Pierre Guidi who will be controlling this. He wants Bertolini to get way ahead. Bertolini is nearly 3 seconds ahead now as Pierre Guidi holds everybody up. Cherki is desperate to get past, needs to get past. So far hasn't been able to do it. And what teamwork we've got going on here. Pierre Guidi holding everybody up. A little bit of smoke there. And that's Ferrara. Ferrara muscling his way past Montanari. Bertolini nearly 3 seconds in front of Pierre Guidi. Cherki, Biaggi, Gabellini, Pigoli, Cerruti, Ferrara now up into 8th place. He's taken 4 places in 1 lap. Can he do anything more about it? But he can see Bertolini heading away from him. But Bertolini still 20 points behind in the points in the overall championship table. And Pierre Guidi still holding Cherki up. Biaggi right behind him. Nothing they can do. Cerruti. Max Pigoli has taken Cerruti, so in front of teammates. And Cerruti just in front of Gigi Ferrara. Ferrara will want to get past in short order on this lap. But Bertolini, no fastest lap so far. Montanari and Cerruti, fastest people out in a straight line. And that's, look at this, he's really pushing hard now. On board with Gigi Ferrara. Right behind Michele Cerruti. That's not Cerruti in front. I think he's, no, it is Cerruti in front. It's the pink Mercedes. He's trying to get past. And Cerruti holding him up. Looks for the inside line. Cerruti overruns just a little bit. He's got past. And that's the slowest corner on track through Tolentino. So Ferrara's been able to get past. Montanari behind Cerruti now. So Ferrara up into 7th place. That's helped him. Next one along will be, I think, Max Pigoli. And Pierre Guidi still doing what he needs to do. Fastest lap now for Bertolini, 141.2. Pierre Guidi, 141.8, holding everybody up behind him. Nobody else can go faster than that. Letting Bertolini get away, big style now, by nearly 4 seconds. And it's up to Gigi Ferrara, now on the back of Max Pigoli. Fabrizio Armetta there in 11th place, easy to spot, and that was the pass on Michele Cerruti. Cerruti holding off Montanari, I think, for that on board with Michele. As Ferrara goes past. And Cerruti holding off Montanari, still down in 9th place. Gianni Morbidelli behind him, the grey and white Audi RS4. I think he's back into 14th or even 15th place now, because maybe Fabrizio Armetta's got past him. Yes, he has. So Armetta back up into the points. All these battles going on down the track. The leader still, and this is the problem. This Ferrara still in 7th place, still being chased by Michele Cerruti, who still thinks she can take him. Michele Cerruti, 1 win under her belt so far this season. Ferrara also just the 1 win at Valencia. But it certainly looks like the engine is not the engine he's been used to in the last couple of races. Gigi Ferrara, only the 1 win this season, but been very consistent. And that has maximised his championship lead, but that lead has been cut right down now. Although I still think he'll be leading at the end of this race. Max Pigoli with the damaged bodywork after punting Gigi Ferrara, just giving him a nudge at the Torrentino, the tight hairpin at the back of this. And fantastic news is that my monitor for places has just gone off as well, so you're seeing what I see on the track. And still Gigi Ferrara in that 7th place, holding up Michele Cerruti. And Cerruti still pushing hard. She's held off the Roma Racing pairing of Romagnoli and Cini. And I think that's Cini behind her at the moment. So Bertolini still leads this by over 4 seconds and stretching the lead now. As next time they come across the stripe, they'll have 1 more lap to go. Michele Cerruti is still trying to get past Ferrara. And Ferrara is desperate to retain that 7th place. All points count because he still leads the championship. Bertolini from Pierre Guidi, then Cherki and Biaggi, and I don't think Cherki and Biaggi will be able to do anything about Pierre Guidi. Gabellini in 5th place, then Pigoli, who's stretched out by nearly 3 seconds in front of this battle on track between Cerruti and Ferrara. Ferrara still staying ahead as Bertolini comes across the start and finish line to start the last lap of the race. And they're able to control it, flag to flag for Bertolini. It will be once he finishes this final lap of the race. 4.2 seconds in the lead. Cherki just 0.9 of a second behind him, but can't catch it, carrying that extra 60 kilograms of winning ballast that he has on board. Biaggi still has some of that ballast as well. Then it's Gabellini and Pigoli and Ferrara and Cerruti. This battle between Ferrara and Cerruti will probably go down to the wire. And Ferrara desperate to retain his 7th place and keep all his points, but it's been flag to flag for Bertolini. Absolutely dominant. Free practice 2 and qualifying, all fastest out there of all, and now we'll be taking that first race win. Fabrizio Armetta from 15th place has come into the pit, so he's out of the points. That moves everybody up. Ascani will be getting into the points this time, the first champion in Superstars way back in 2004. Lees gets into the points on board the number 33, your leader, and coming out of the final turn. He will be the leader, but he's just tooling around the back of the track at the moment. Down, up to the Roma curve goes Bertolini. Will come out of this and cross the start and finish line and finish race 1. Here he comes, flag to flag for the Swiss team. Bertolini takes the win. Race 1 at Superstars and absolutely dominated by the Swiss team, Maserati Quattroportes. As our monitor decides it's going to go south again, and trying to get the monitor to work for us to get the time, the times back up again, and I think I figured it out, and hopefully we'll get the times coming on. And we've got this strange monitor that they decided to put in, which is controlled by computer. And the computer says, oh, all right, you know, you haven't been using me for a while, shall I shut down? And it shuts itself down, so it's perfect. Number 3 on board with Alberto Cherki. He will be right next to Andrea Bertolini at the start. and you can see his edge just a little bit ahead. Coming up to the Roma curve, coming off the Roma curve, Alberto Suzuki will want to get a jackrabbit start to do something to stay in front of Andrea Bertolini. I don't see it happening. Bertolini already starting to push a little bit, put his nose in front. Alberto Suzuki will want to go with him on board to number 54 with Gigi Ferrara down in 12th place as they come out of Roma, under the bridge and across the start and finish line, waiting for the green lights to go. It's go, 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 and Bertolini goes ahead again. Suzuki tries to push out the teammate of Bertolini, Pierre Guidi, and he isn't able to do it, and somebody locks up on the inside there. Didn't see because we've cut back, but Bertolini out in the lead. All of a sudden, that's the start, so Bertolini has got the start he needs, and I think looking at the back of one of the Romeo Ferraris, and that might be Johnny Herbert. Johnny Herbert, I think, in 4th place, but Bertolini's got the start he wanted. And guess what Pierre Guidi's going to do? He's going to hold it just a little bit. Just break a little bit earlier into the corners. Put his foot down just a little bit later. On board with Gigi Ferrara. Ferrara's in 8th place, so he's made up 4 places already behind Stefano Gabellini. But I think he's been passed just as I look away, and Pierre Guidi doing what he needs to do. And I think that might actually be Johnny Herbert in 3rd place, and the BMWs fighting amongst themselves behind them. Johnny Herbert, I think, has taken Cherki, so Cherki and Biaggi again in a fight on track. Wow, that's Michele Cerruti being squeezed down in 10th place. Fabrizio Armetta right behind her, looking to have a look up the inside into the corner, and I think Armetta's got her, but she stays up the inside. Armetta on the outside is still taking that one. Right, Bertolini from Pierre Guidi, from Johnny Herbert, from Cherki and Biaggi. That's what we've got at the moment. And there's Gigi Ferrara. Ferrara, I think, behind Max Pigoli. And we don't want those two to come together again. But Bertolini, so far, has got his teammate to ride shotgun for him. Pierre Guidi is keeping Johnny Herbert behind him. Cherki in 4th place, then Biaggi, then Pigoli, then Ferrara in 7th in front of Stefano Gabellini. Cini into 9th place. Gianni Morbidelli is in 10th place. Number 58 said crash. It was number 58 drivers, okay. So 58 was Riccardo Romagnoli, the other of the Carl Racing Mercedes. So Romagnoli out of it. We did see that at the beginning. And 2 BMWs off in the gravel. And could that be Tom Biaggi and Alberto Cherki? Those two have been fighting together all season and taking each other off. Till we get a close-up of the numbers, we won't be able to know. Fabrizio Armetta right behind Gianni Morbidelli. And that's Max Pigoli having a look at the inside. Max Pigoli, number 18, goes past, I think that's Tom Biaggi. No, it's not. Alberto Cherki. He's gone past Cherki. So Cherki has certainly not got anything going on at the moment. Mr. PlayStation hasn't been able to find the speed here this week. And Cherki, with a chance at the championship, is being duffed up by one of the hardest men on the track, and that was Christian Montanari. Sorry about that. Riccardo Romagnoli, the other Mercedes, Carl Racing Mercedes, out on the gravel, crashed and no longer racing, and a big crash from him as well into the dust and up against the wall. Back again, having a look at what happened. It looked like he got tagged from behind. Everybody else going off as well. Number 2 going off, Stefano Gabellini. That's what put him way down the order. Gabellini now in 10th place. Fabrizio Armetta's got in front of him, and I think that's because he was having a big battle with Tom Biaggi. Biaggi, well, we can't even see Biaggi on the timing screen at the moment, so Biaggi might be out of this. But Bertolini, in all this time, just cruises out in front. Pierre Guidi it is, who's just put in the fastest lap of the race. The number 37 has just been shown a black and white flag. Number 37 is in fact Riccardo Bossi in the Audi Quattro, the RS4, and there it is, the green RS4 in its own battle at the back there. Have a quick rundown. Bertolini it is from Pierre Guidi and Johnny Herbert, and then Max Pigoli, and the gap actually is not that big. It's a 2.2 second gap And Pierre Guidi having to push on because Johnny Herbert is pushing hard behind him. But Johnny Herbert has just been taken as well. Max Pigoli, with the front of the car all taped up, takes full advantage and slips up the inside. So anything that Gigi Ferrara had, tags the backside. And Ferrara's off and City's off. And Ferrara's back in front, but I think who is it? Stefano Gabellini now. And now this time it's Michele Cerruti who's having a look at the back of Ferrara. And it's all changed there. Woo. Cini and Armetta, both off the track and both slipping down the order. And the call, as you like, there's Armetta goes up the inside. And as Armetta comes down to the corner, he tags the back end of Cini. That's what did it. Ferrara can't do anything about it as he puts the power down. Armetta's pushed off the track. These are big, heavy cars. And once you start moving, it's difficult to stop, especially when you're on the grass. So Armetta taking the worst of that. Fabrizio Armetta now down into 10th place. Michele Cerruti is ahead of her and now chasing down Gigi Ferrara Gabellini. Oh, look at this. That's Max Pigoli up the inside of Pierre Guidi. All this time he's been pushing. He's noted the cool conditions and put some tape over the front of his radiator, being able to use the power developed when that engine is at race temperature. Now in front of Pierre Guidi. Everything happens in this kind of race. And now look, it's Gianni Morbidelli wants to get into the mix as well. Can he get up the inside of Pierre Guidi, whose tyres must be shot by now? He can indeed. And superstars, applause from the Italians in the booth next to me as three-time world champion in superstars Gianni Morbidelli now on a podium position for the Audi RS4. And Max Pigoli using the power to open that gap again on Gianni Morbidelli. Pierre Guidi still in 4th place. Johnny Herbert still in 5th. Then it's Cerruti and Gabellini. And this fight between Ferrara and Cerruti, which we just saw down the start-finish straight again. And 1 minute, so it's this lap plus one more. Only 2 laps to go in this race. Can Pigoli hold off the charging Gianni Morbidelli, who slips right up under brakes? Has he got the inside for the next corner? No, he hasn't. He's on the outside, but he takes it because Max Pigoli tries everything he can to outbrake him. Should have just stayed there and run Morbidelli to the outside, but he couldn't. Under braking, bang, goes the inside and locks up. And he can't do that too often without the tyre crying enough and blowing. But Gianni Morbidelli, would you believe it, into 2nd place. And he has only this lap plus one more to do anything about Bertolini in front of him by just 1.8 seconds. But Bertolini, again, massively experienced. Served as a test driver for the Scuderia Ferrari Formula One team. So he's had experience up against Formula One drivers, provisional European Superstars champion 2011. This lap plus one more. Can he get Gianni Morbidelli behind him? Max Pigoli now relegated to 3rd place. And look at the gap. He's blown something. He's relegated to a lot more than that. That was a rear tyre smoking something. No, Pierre Guidi's right behind him, but he's got a lot slower now. And his tyres are absolutely shot, trying to stay in front of Gianni Morbidelli. Can Pierre Guidi get past him as well? And there's the fight between Cerruti, Gabellini. No, is it not? No, that's Cini. Piaggi going past Cini there. And chasing after Michele Cerruti, who's still in that battle with Gigi Ferrara. But look at that smoke pouring off the back of Max Pigoli's machine. More smoke from up front, and I think maybe Gianni Morbidelli must have locked all 4 wheels. But Max Pigoli, his tyres have gone, needs to nurse this towards the end. But Pierre Guidi's got past him now. Pigoli down in 4th place, and under threat from Johnny Herbert. Johnny Herbert's electric car will pass him in a straight line, and Max Pigoli won't do anything about that. Look at this, they're together. They're together, and they're on the final lap now. Gianni Morbidelli right up behind Andrea Bertolini. And Bertolini, with the sun in his eyes as that sun gets low in the sky, knows that former Formula One pilot and 3 times champion Gianni Morbidelli could cause a massive upset here on the final lap. And he's right with him as well. And could he do it? Could Gianni Morbidelli actually go past him through the infield? Where on the final curve, Torren and Tito can't get up the inside. We've only got the S's and Roma to go. And I don't think Bertolini will be headed coming out of Roma. Morbidelli is all over him like a rash, but can't do anything about it. The final curve, the final blast to the start finish line as the camera goes on the blink. And Bertolini takes the win and will take the championship. Gianni Morbidelli, a huge fight for him and could almost have done it. And Piggoli stays in front of Herbert right at the end. Pierre Guidi gets 3rd place, Piggoli 4th place, Johnny Herbert into 5th, Alberto Suzuki in 6th, Gabellini 7th place, Gigi Ferrara.
The last round of the year resulted in the 3rd double of the season for Andrea Bertolini, enough for the Maserati driver to take the title and wrap up a great year in which he won 7 races and scored 3 pole positions. Luigi Ferrara, who led the championship going into the final race, had to settle for runners-up as well as he did in 2010. Teenager Alberto Suzuki was the revelation, finishing 3rd and taking Rookie of the Year honours.